should just say, we have other things to do, because that whole thing has turned out, I mean, other than Bill Clinton and, Bill Gates and lots of people that there are a lot of questions about it, but nothing on me.
Trump signed.
Now, Professor, he is named multiple times in the files, the documents that we've seen, and it will be impossible to go through absolutely every accusation and name for this interview, but let's go through some of the highlights that happened. So one of the claims is that a caller claiming direct victim experience to the FBI New York Office Task Force. So this is labeled the Mar-a-Lago Calendar Girls child abuse allegation. So in this is what the file says. Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring children in and Trump would auction them off. They were taken in rooms, forced to give oral sex to Donald J. Trump. I was 13 years old when Donald Trump raped me. Now that is a wild accusation, and of course complete stark contrast from Trump's Trump basically said he ran in social circles with Jeffrey Epstein during this time. Of course they hung out, but he says he had no understanding or involvement in these sex trafficking rings or these sex parties. Another one that really, and you mentioned this at the start of the interview, Professor, in around 1990, a New Jersey underage oral sex allegation. This is what it says. It says, reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred. The friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing this sex act. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump.
With Donald on the Atlantic City Boardwalk, and I asked him about the adjudicated cases where his casinos had been plying a 13, 14-year-old, in fact, in one case, a 12-year-old, letting them gamble in the casinos. You have to be 21, not 12, giving them liquor, limousines, hotel suites. And I said, what about this? And I thought he would say, yeah, it was a mistake, or I fired the subordinates. And Donald just coldly looked at me and said, yeah, I paid a fine.
Well, his children would have been teenagers at that stage, Professor.
Yeah, just about, yeah.
Yeah. Another accusation in 1987, so 2 years before that meeting between you, a caller called into the FBI on their friend's account, said that in 1987, a victim was out drinking, ended up at the Trump Plaza. Victim 1 saw Donald Trump, wanted to meet him. Victim 1 woke up naked and saw with $300 on the bed. Victim 1 didn't remember how she got to the room. She remembered seeing a flash of Trump's face. She called the person who reported this and told her that she thought she had been raped. That's another allegation. There's also an allegation in 1995, Professor, where a limousine driver makes a complaint, picked Trump up to take him to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport during the ride. The complainant recalled some of the things Trump spoke about on his cell phone that were very concerning. Complainant noted that Trump repeatedly stated the name Jeffrey, and one of the complainant's ex-girlfriends told the complainant that Trump had raped her, as did Jeffrey Epstein. So, I mean, those are just two separate accounts of allegations of rape.
And if I can go one further, one of the most disturbing documents involves Trump's golf course in suburban Los Angeles, in Palos Verdes, and a threat to someone that if they talked about what was going on with 13-year-old girls there, that they would end up fertilizer on the back 9 holes of the golf course. That is important because it takes it from Epstein Island, Epstein's mansion in Manhattan, Mar-a-Lago in Florida, to all the way across the country in Los Angeles, and suggests a much wider and broader pattern of sexual abuse of little girls than we had known before these documents were released.
That has come out in the Epstein files, and the stuff that has come out is actually really disturbing. I will say, let's just start it off. If there are children in the room, maybe they shouldn't be in the room, because this is going to be some pretty disgusting stuff. But we should talk about it, and we will talk about it. First off, let us just see here. Ryan Garcia, one of Trump's biggest backers for the 2024 election, has said the following. This is my public declaration and announcement. I'm reclining my past support for Donald Trump. Anyone that was involved in anything to do with that island and what they're doing, I just can't support it in any way. Children need to be protected. Everyone knew better, fuck that, justice for all. And Donald Trump's response to this is not great. We have learned through reporting that Donald Trump is, quote, petrified that someone in his inner circle has intentionally leaked the unredacted Epstein files, and that all the files are not out. And they are, someone said here, yesterday he said images of really bad stuff will not be released. The statement should end careers, social lives in hopes of rehabilitation for the reputation of everyone involved. Those images exist within the files, and we will never know who did that, but they know. Yeah, they know everything. They know everything. But you know what's not working? As I showed you before, folks are over it. They're over it. And Ryan Garcia is no longer, here he is again, no longer in support of the president. And there are just non-stop posts like this from Trisha, a national delegate in Texas, says, I feel physically ill knowing I worked so hard to support Trump, and it appears he is a sick pedophile. I can't fathom the evil mind a person has to have harm children. Someone else said here, I mean, these are not leftists. These are MAGA Republicans. The Epstein files are a Democratic hoax, quoting Trump. Trump is such a piece of shit for gaslighting us to protect pedophiles. And remember, this was Donald Trump calling it a hoax. I mean, clearly it's not a hoax. We saw the files, but Howard Lutnick all over those files, and here he is laughing at Donald Trump as he calls it a hoax.
The two Kevins, it's very good.
Mr. President, is Vice President Vance hosting a gathering this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
Is he working on what?
Is he hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know. I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
Very evil and sinister. Very evil and sinister. And this is sworn testimony that is in files that leaked. And it says here, I personally witnessed defendant Trump telling the plaintiff that she shouldn't ever say anything if she didn't want to disappear like the 12-year-old female redacted, and that he was capable of having her whole family killed. And they declared this under penalty of perjury. Is there any doubt in your mind why they don't want to release these? And there's also more information here where at age 16, while modeling, Caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, Caller reported she was assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin, lured this caller and her friend upstairs, but they both escaped backstairs. I mean, this is really, really disturbing stuff, talking about things that I don't want to say in this channel. Hassan Piker said, pay close attention to who's silent about the new Epstein drops, and I do think that is kind of a good litmus test. Who has been loud about this? That's noted. Okay, the people who have been loud about it, I think, are people that we can actually trust. If there are people, either right-wing influencers or politicians, who have not said a word, then they are defending some of the most vile people in our country, either willingly or through their silence. Now, we also have this here where we can very clearly see that cover-up is happening out in the open. This is about Trump. Spoke to Alan Garten, Trump's attorney, redacted. Garten arranged a 20-minute phone conference with Trump and Brad in lieu of the deposition. Following was discussed, and then it's completely redacted. Now, as a really smart commentator noted here, there is no reason for this to be redacted. It's beyond the scope of privilege. And discussions with Trump can't possibly have been national security matters when they were before his first run. So there's no reason for this. This is the cover-up right here. That is literally the cover-up. Howard Lutnick is in the files. You saw him laughing earlier. This might be why. Describing the children he was going to bring to Jeffrey Epstein. Hi, Jeff. This is Howard. We are landing in St. Thomas early Saturday afternoon and planning to head over to St. Bart's, Anguilla on Monday at some point. Where are you located? What is the exact location for my captain? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? I have another couple, Michael and Marcy, with me on my boat, and each of us has 4 children, 2 16s, 2 14s, a 13, 12, 11, and 7-year-old. Thanks, Howard. Very strange and disturbing.